Hey, it's Dr. Kate Walker. Welcome to our Thursday 30, April 2nd pandemic version. Welcome. I'm so glad you guys are here. Today we're going to talk about HIPAA. We're going to talk about gear. We're going to talk about resources. And we're going to talk about your routine. And the idea is to coronavirus proof your business. So there are lots and lots of groups out there now, lots of people talking about self-care, lots of people talking about, the problems that they're facing and solutions. And, I know that you're plugged in, and sometimes it's just nice to take a break. So you taking 30 minutes today to check this out and maybe learn some new things and contribute, because we got a thread going down here. Hey, Margaret, thanks for joining. And Kyle, thanks for joining. So we're going to keep the conversation going because this is such an important time for your business. Hey, Linda, thanks for joining. I just got off the phone with a friend of mine who owns a pizza joint up in Maine. And she and I just had this really intense conversation about the PPP, the Payroll Protection Plan, the CARES Act, the grant, the $10,000 grant for businesses. Hey, Jennifer, thanks for joining. So I want to talk about all of that today. And then if I talk about something that has a link, I will put it here. Also, I know we have a couple of threads going in, as far as resources for entrepreneurs, relief efforts. Yes, we will continue to put it there too. You can always use the search bar. If you've got something on your mind and you think, okay, I think we talked about this in the group, use the search bar. I hope it comes up. If it doesn't, well, then obviously we need to put it in there. So put it in the comments, right? So who knows this? Who knows that? We're a resource. Otherwise, why do we do these groups, right? We're community. We've got to help each other out. So I'm going to lead off by just showing you the gear. Let's talk about the gear. A lot of the issues that we're having with our clients regarding the extreme pixelation, the Wi-Fi drops, etc., had to do with bandwidth. And those things are slowly being resolved as our telehealth providers are kind of beefing up their business a little bit, right? Hey, Carolyn. Hey, Christina. Hey, Sima. Thanks for joining. So as they've beefed up their server capacity, we should be seeing a relief in the drops from their piece. Now that can't mitigate what's still happening at our house and at our client's house. So let's talk about the things we can mitigate at our house, okay? And so one of the things that causes pixelation and issues with client quality as far as seeing our face is lighting. So when you don't have it's like when you take a picture, remember the old days when we had the old fashioned cameras and you'd send it off to get it developed, you'd have that flash that went off, right? And that was so that you could be lit and without light, there's no picture. So one of the things I want to show you, I've set up in front of these two big windows and I keep the shades up. And then as it gets toward the evening, I've got this gigantic light ring that has a dimmer on it. And the dimmer allows me to, because I know sometimes I do these Facebook Lives and my face is super bright and my cheeks turn red, and it's because I've got the dimmer switch on too high and I've basically roasted myself. So you can also use ambient lighting. I've got a couple of floor lamps. So I've got one here and then I've got one over there. And then of course I have the overhead light on my fan. So the object is to keep as much light on your face as you possibly can, and that will keep your image clear for your client. Now that brings up another point. Did you notice when I was moving my camera around that I possibly started pixelating? The screen might have even started freezing. Your camera, every time you move, it has to refresh. And so you're doing this video counseling, and if you're a hand waver like I am, I learned back in 9th grade in my vocabulary class that's called gesticulating. I'm a very big gesticulator. What happens is I can appear to freeze for my clients. I have to force myself to sit very still and do the nodding, tilting, And when I'm really rather be going like this and picking up a pencil to play with or something like that I would do in a face-to-face session. When I'm in a live session via webcam with my clients, it's going to result in technical difficulty. So if you notice that is a lot of freezing going on and your client, you're sure that it's not you, You can even let your client know, hey, if you just kind of sit still, we should be able to get through this with a minimum amount of freezing. Hey, Debbie, thanks for joining. So that's one issue. So freezing and pixelating. The other issue is going to be echo. Echo can be mitigated on your end by these guys. So if you've got earbuds in, that should mitigate the echo from your side. For the other side, your clients, I even see a couple of physicians and they are not using earbuds. So I'm like, okay, all right. So you're just letting our session kind of go out there into the room, and that's okay. That's their choice. But you might want to remind them that they can decrease the echo if they'll wear a set of earbuds. Now, I also have, and I'm going to pick this up so you can see, I have a Yeti blue microphone, right? And I'm not using that right now, but that gives me a little bit of freedom. I still use my earbuds, right? Because of confidentiality, right? I don't want their voices and their issues going out into the room. But the Yeti microphone gives me a little bit more control, and I can lean in, I can lean back. Whereas this will, you can hear my dogs barking, you can hear my stomach growling, right? This is a pretty hot microphone. So as far as gear, you don't have to be complicated. There's nothing wrong with your computer camera. There's nothing wrong with your computer microphone as long as you've got earbuds to protect confidentiality. If you have a couple of table lamps, a good external natural lighting. I want to show you one other thing that I've got here, and that is this mic stand, and it's way up there, right? And that is what I'm hanging my green screen on. Now, I talked about the green screen last week, and it actually now there are actually some issues that are coming up, and it was brought into my Texas Supervisor Training consultation group on Monday. If you are a supervisor and you are not in my Texas Supervisor Training group, you need to get in there. Hey, Cindy, thanks for joining. Because one of the issues we talked about is we've got these clients who are now invited into our space. So there's all kinds of transference going on. And where in our office, we can mitigate that, right? We can keep a fairly sterile office. I know personally, I don't put up holiday decorations. I don't put up family pictures. I've got the same decorations now that I had 10 years ago. It's a very just plain space so clients can project whatever they need to project in there. My home space, not so much. I mean, some days it's clean, some days it's not clean. And so there's the issue of our client transference and them feeling like they're part of our world. And there was an issue about a client communicating with an intern regarding their affection for that intern. And so, as much as we can, I feel, I'm gonna own this, that we need to mitigate that transference. We need to control it a little bit. Carolyn's saying she uses a diffuser fabric paper over lamps. Oh, I love that with the lighting. And so you can even use a sheet as your green screen. The idea is, so there are two parts to this, right? There's the transference from your clients, but there's also your privacy. Y'all, it's so easy to screenshot, right? If I've got you guys all in a Zoom meeting, it takes me 2 seconds to screenshot that puppy and I can post it, right? So people being able to record, that's one thing. I mean, I have clients that like to record our sessions. It's fine, it's whatever. But when they take screenshots of my space or they're trying to, and we just don't know, right? So it's this is your world, this is your home, this is your personal space. And I would love to hear from you guys out there who conduct therapy in your home, because I imagine it's the same issue, right? This is nothing new. It's just new for those of us who are used to going to an office every day. So we're kind of taking what we already know and we're trying to transfer it into something new. And what we're finding is, as always, it never transfers cleanly, right? So I'm going to pick up the camera, so you may notice me freezing, pixelating, and I'm going to put you over here in a space where I'm not quite, so there we go. All right, now I'm facing my computer and I can turn my light ring up so until my face burns, or I can turn my light ring down and just kind of be normal. And so talking about gear, it's also going to help you protect confidentiality. So even though HIPAA's been relaxed, we are still going to make every effort to protect our client with our physical security. Okay, so hey Laura, thanks, Amanda, thanks for joining. And Amanda, there was a great shout out to you last week in the Texas Supervisor Training Consultation Group. I guess somebody had private messaged you and they said you were just amazing. And isn't it wonderful that we have this community and everybody just willing to share? So I just wanted to give you a shout out. Thank you. Thank you so much for being that kind of a colleague. So it's regarding HIPAA, I can't soundproof my house, right? I mean, I can't call, I could call the construction folk and they could come out here and I'm sure they would appreciate the business. But the problem is, my family still has to live here. So the other thing the green screen does, you can see it would hang right from that pole, is it gives some barrier, another element of a barrier for, just in case like somebody accidentally opens the door, right? So with that barrier, they're not going to see the screen and who's there. The other element of physical security, we need to talk about, I probably should do just a whole Facebook Live on the what if. I did post a brand new course. It's $60. It's 2 CEs. You get ethics. You get Texas ethics. This covers privacy and security training for mental health professionals, for any office staff that you have. And it covers HIPAA. It covers Texas House Bill 300. And it covers Chapter 611. So you have to remember federal law, right? That covers the covered entities. And then for those of us who don't consider ourselves covered entities, well, we are covered by Texas House Bill 300. Texas House Bill 300 covers everybody, and it mirrors HIPAA. And so then you guys, I've got my buddies. Can you tell my pool guys here? So then we have, of course, ACA, AAMFT, professional organizations that help guide us in areas that our state and our federal laws don't cover. And then Chapter 611, how we actually protect our clients' confidential information. So check that out. And if you guys want to, we can go over that more in another Facebook Live, or I could do a special Facebook Live. As always, y'all, we are community. If you see somebody that is messing up, right? If you happen to catch somebody's information or you hear that somebody's video isn't quite protecting confidentiality, or you hear somebody in a conversation mentioning something that may not actually do a very good job of protecting the PHI, the protected health information, y'all please tap them on the shoulder before you file a complaint. I know LPC code says we got to file the complaint, but that's not who we are, right? We try to help one another. We are too important to lose to things like getting in trouble. And when you just don't know, this is a brave new world. This may be somebody's new business plan from here on out, or this may be a one and done and I'm never getting on video again. If you see somebody doing it wrong, please just give them a PM, private message them, give them a call, text them, send them an email and say, hey, I noticed this and I think it would be better if you did it this way. Hey, Mark. Hey, Suzanne. Thanks for joining. So thank you guys in advance for helping us out, each other out, right? Because this is just new stuff for all of us. All right. So I've talked about gear. I've talked about the screen. I've talked about the mic. I've talked about mitigating echo. I've talked about lighting to help you with the pixelating and the freezing. I've talked about kind of sitting still, making sure that, if you're still, the chances are good that your camera will not freeze. And then you can pass that along to your client. All right, so let's talk about, how am I doing on time? Yay. Resources. So there is a Facebook group and I posted it in this thread. This thread is going to be a little bit different, but other places in Badass Business, I've posted information. It's called the CARES Support Group. Facebook group. It's called CARES, CARES Support Group. And it is a group dedicated to folks who are helping professionals navigate the act imposed or created by Congress a few weeks ago to help business owners. So there are two parts to this CARES Act, right? There's the PPP, the Payroll Protection Plan, and then there's a $10,000 grant. Now, the $10,000 grant, everybody in this group within the sound of my voice should have already applied to this. And if you have not, I'll post the link in this thread today. It's $10,000. It's a grant. It does not have to be paid back. If you decide then to go and get the PPP, that $10,000 becomes a part of the PPP, but you still do not have to pay that back. That $10,000 is yours. Now, the catch with the PPP is you have to dedicate it to certain types of expenses. So they're recommending that you take any money that you get from the PPP and you put it into a separate bank account so you can easily document how you spend that money. Now, the grant, I'm not real sure about. I think you can spend that for whatever you need to spend it on. Not sure. So you remember the search bar we were talking about earlier. If you go to the CARES support group and the Facebook group, and I think it's closed, so you probably have to ask to join, and then he lets you join. Use their search bar. Yesterday, I put in the search bar grant application notification. Just those were my 3 search terms. And I got information from 15 minutes before that no one had received their grant money yet. That made me feel good because I was like, oh crap, I've applied. Where's my money? Do I get my money? Have they changed their mind? And folks, when you Google this stuff, the latest you're going to get is a 2018, FEMA notification about how to get disaster relief. It's just not, there's not enough information for Google to notice yet. So joining a Facebook group like this support, CARES support, is just vital. And, it may be that this group is something that, you already know this because you have a great bookkeeper or you have you have your accountant on speed dial. So we're just kind of building an arsenal here. So if you have a great accountant, but maybe your office mate does not, you can pass this information along because the information is literally changing minute by minute. And those of you who hire employees, this is important, right? Because you're having to reduce hours or they're coming to you going, what do I do? Are you going to pay me? You have to show, and this is one of the things I did learn, that this PPP has very, very generous repayment options. And in fact, if you don't fire your employees, if you keep them on, they will actually relax the how and when you pay it back. In a nutshell, you're providing their unemployment. So you're doing it so the government doesn't have to. It keeps people off the unemployment payroll or rosters, right? So anyway, that's just a really, really brief, just non-bookkeeper version of this. So do your homework, check that group out. If you hear of another group, please post it here. So the Facebook CARES support group, we've talked about the grant and the PPP relief. Some of us, I know, are hearing about forbearances for your mortgages and your cars. That's wonderful. The problem I'm hearing is that some of these forbearances will come due in about 8 weeks or whenever the quarantine is lifted, and basically you will be responsible for all of it. So get a forbearance, win the lottery. I think for me personally, sorry, this is just an allergy. It's not the corona. What I'm learning is that the longer I can hang on and continue to pay what I need to pay, and that might be minimum payments, it might be late payments. If I can buy groceries, if I can make sure that I'm doing what I need to do to stay in business, if I have to postpone something and pay a late payment, then so be it, right? So the more I can do on my own without a loan, this is me personally, I'm just talking about Kate here, the more comfortable I am. And so I think as a community, we probably need to start the discussion pretty soon about, when is it time? When do you feel like the loan is what you need in order to keep your business going and your employees happy and paying their bills as well? Okay, last thing, but certainly not least. Y'all, you got to get up in the morning, all right? You got to put on pants. All right. Oh, and Kyle's got some information about the Chase Bank for Business, right? Excellent. Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that. Because remember, the banks are the ones that give the loan, not SBA. SBA is just an overarching organization. You have to go to the bank who is participating to do that. Thank you, Kyle. All right. So back to your pants. I am in blue jeans today. I'm not in my day pajama pants, right? So part of making sure that as counselors, we don't quit, hashtag we don't quit, right, is remembering getting up and acting as if, right? Let's be Adlerian here. Acting as if you are going to the office. If you're just walking from your bedroom 2 steps down the hallway to your office, go ahead and make your coffee, set an alarm, Make your day start at 9 o'clock. Get in your office, have a routine, get a notepad, set it next to your computer with 3 things that you have to do when you get in here. You know, we talked about this, I think, back in October or November. Do a marketing thing. Do one thing that's going to make you money and do one thing that's creative. You know, if you have this passion to build courses, build a course. If you have a passion to do these Facebook Lives, well, sit down and write a script for your Facebook Live. But go to work. If you start to find yourself isolating, if you find yourself taking 4 naps a day, if you find yourself bored eating, those things are going to work against you as a business owner. I'm talking to you owner to owner here. I'm talking to you entrepreneur to entrepreneur here, right? This is something we struggle with. The struggle is real. Like I said, I got off the phone with my friend who's the pizza manager up in Maine. You know, we all fight this. We wake up in the morning and it's like, okay, I don't have an office to go to right now. And it's hard. So making yourself wear pants, like Kyle says, wear shoes. Hey, Heather, thanks for watching. It's really important. You are I put on, you know, I don't put on a lot of makeup, but I put on a little makeup. Getting dressed, showering every day, going for a walk. I know my 22-year-old daughter is here, and we were both sitting on the couch, literally on our phones doing this yesterday at about 4 o'clock. And I looked at her and I said, hey, you want to go for a walk? And she said, no. And I said, all right, then let's go. And so we both got off the couch, put on, you know, our yoga pants or whatever, and we walked for 3 miles. And when we came home, it was like somebody had given us a new lease on life. So no, nobody wants to get up and go walk. I know that. Nobody wants to get up in the morning and do their stretches and do their meditations and do their positive readings. No, this time, it's a sucky time right now. As a business owner, I am asking you to do this. You are important. You are too important to lose to something like burning out during a pandemic, getting discouraged, letting your mental health take over. And, you know, we teach our clients all the time, you know what, we're validating you, we get you. But what are you going to do about that? Right? So I want to validate you. I want to say, look, I get it. I'm here with you. But what are you going to do about that? Right? You have a responsibility. It's your fault. You got into this business and you're good at it. So now it's time to make yourself get up, get moving, get off the couch, do like Laura and me. We're going to go do some kickboxing if we can, right? I still haven't found a good online kickboxing class. But online, you know, whatever, do what you've got to do to still feel like you are in business, okay? This is going to make or break what's going to happen in 8 weeks, all right? Just because the quarantine is lifted and we all think, here we go. That's like our couples who think divorce is going to solve all their problems, right? No, it's just a symbol. It's a thing. It will come, it will go. The end of the quarantine, whatever, right? We still are going to have situations that affect our families, that affect our clients. So start now. You be the one to wake up in the morning, put on pants, put on shoes. Hey, Pam, thanks for joining. And it's my pleasure. I'm telling you, doing these Facebooks is part of my mental health, right? This gets me excited too. When I turn this off, my to-do list today, I'm going to try to push out 3 courses today. Not just 1, 3. I'm going to try to put on content. If you are a certified counselor supervisor, you have access to monthly content that's updated all the time. My goal is to put brand new content, updated content in that group, and then shoot out an email. I've got a very ambitious to-do list today. If I get 3 things done, I'm still going to pat myself on the back. Set up a reward system. If you get it done, reward yourself and try to make it not food, but you know what? Chocolate's not bad. If you get some good chocolate, I'm saying it's all right. All right, that's it. I'm at time. So remember, you are too important to lose to something like a pandemic. Stay safe, stay home, stay healthy, wash your hands. If you go outside, keep the Purell by the back door, put it on when you walk in, eat fruits and vegetables. You are too important to lose. Remember, #counselors don't quit. Have a great day, and I will see you next Thursday.